To conclude this particular color change exercise, we'll try to, for example, make use of the change information as indicated by this toggle box to trigger some graphical effect. So one of the most simplest form of the graphical effect is to for example, put in text message once you, for example, create some change in the color information. So what I'm going to do is to create another graphical object by using an GemHead. So I put in a number which is greater than, for example, the rest of the GemHead, which I intend to create something on top of all other images. So what I'm going to do is just put in a text, two-dimensional. So I use this to control, for example, the size of the text as a number box. And in order to make the text a little bit stand out from the background, I can change, for example, the color. And I will use, for example, the message to put in like the red color. And for the text message, you can type in anything you want. How I'm going to relate, for example, the toggle box over here to the appearance of this particular text message is for every GemHead, you can have the way to turn on and off the rendering by putting the message 1 or 0. And that indicate that you can put in a toggle over here. So the toggle value 1 will make this one appear, and the toggle number 0 will make it disappear. And actually we can just connect this one directly to the GemHead information over here. And in order, for example, to simplify some of those processes, or to make the processing a little bit more efficient, you can introduce, for example, the object change. So the object change is actually you monitor whether there's some change in the value. And for example, if you have no change in the color value, it will send out automatically the number 0 to the toggle box. So even though if you have no change in the color, because for every frame as indicated by the metro boxes, it will send out the information. And if you would like to, for example, simplify the process, that means you would like to create the appearance and disappearance of the text over here by just monitoring the change in those toggle. So you will, for example, eliminate all those flickering of those text message by using the toggle box. So you can either connect directly, or you can use a send over here and receive it in the other end. So the use of the change object can be useful in some of the case. For example, if you use, for example, the toggle to change, like the movie you would like to load in an pixel film or similar mechanism. If you do not use the change, once you have an information of those, for example 0 or 1 over here, for every band as sent out by the metro box, you will automatically create a loading of that particular, for example, movie. So in that case, you will cause a lot of trouble if you continuously to load the movie again and again. So in that case, if you use the change, it's only do the loading when you have change in the value of the box instead of for every band. So we would like to have a look of the effect of this one. We turn on this one, and then you can have a look of the message. I make it as big as possible, and then we can also move the color box to the location you would like to monitor the change in color. For example, we have a more or less clear background color right here, and then we start to register the color information. Once you settle, you put it over here. So this screen without the change in color. And then you can use some other object or your hand to test the color change. So the operation is something like this one. So this is like a virtual button, and you can, for example, embed a button somewhere over here in the virtual environment. So you can use your real body, that is your finger, your hand, or some of the color objects to trigger this virtual button to create, in this case, a very simple and straightforward message like the text stop over here. And if you, for example, imagine to have multiple buttons set virtually along in this space, you can use your hand to, for example, check a different message by touching upon different location. And of course, you do not need to make this box visible. You can make it invisible. In this case, the user do not know which location to explore. So this is another form of interactivity you can try to make use of. And for some of the case, you would like to put in the visible form of the button or hotspot, and for some case you would like to make it invisible to let the user to explore. So this one is a very simple and straightforward demonstration of the use of the color track and some visual effect. So of course you can use other visual effects like loading in different pixel image, or loading in by using pixel film to load different video for playback.